Yeah, we're
Right?
live.
Live.
We
All
are
right.
live.
Oh, and Angie's wearing some new fancy fun ears. She's going to be with me in just a minute.
Fancy fun. What does
Fancy
fancy fun sounds like to me? That they're like Mad Tea Party ears.
I mean, they might be.
They're not though.
Oh.
Fancy fun. It sounds almost like maybe they're like Mary Poppins ears.
Well, you'll see them in just a second.
And what do you think they are?
Yeah. What does everybody think? Some people are starting to show up. So this is Saturday Morning Live. This is our second week of doing the show, and I spent last night at Disneyland until they closed the park, and I am really feeling it at this point. So welcome to the show. Thanks for coming by. Phoebe, hello. Good to see you back for week 2. All right. Today is Toy Story Land. We're going to talk about some of the Disney Park stuff. We're going to talk about the pros and cons. I'm not just going to dog on it. I am going to bring up some new stuff. But Angie, we haven't even put these up for sale yet. But they will be up for sale this week. What are they?
They're Coco.
Oh.
This is a design. Well, I just want to say hi to Phoebe and hi to Nothing But Disney. And if you're here, let us know, because I don't think we can see otherwise.
No,
like
but there
who's here.
I mean, there are a few people watching, so.
So I had sketched this design out when the movie first, we saw the movie.
Before the movie came out.
We saw the movie before the movie came out.
Yeah.
And I sketched this design, and we have been so busy fulfilling actual orders that I haven't gotten around to it. So somebody actually asked for Coco ears, and I was like, yes, finally I can do them with
Right.
reason.
Right.
So this is what I ended up doing. So usually I don't hand paint ears. Well, not usually I don't, but most
Not
designs
this
aren't.
much.
Yeah, most designs are not hand painted. So but these are.
And then the other side of them.
Yeah. So I feel like maybe I need to hold them here so you can see them in the light. And then on the back, it's just like a printed fabric.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Modern Mouse ears. That link is in the description below if you're interested. So thank you to those who have come.
Yeah.
Skylar, good
Hi,
morning. So first of all, I just gotta say thanks to everyone. We got past 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, and within 2 days, we gained another 100 people. Amazing stuff. Also, yesterday I was live streaming from Disneyland with Dano from the Dano channel. He does all kinds of Star Wars stuff. He does a lot of toy reviews. That's his main thing now. And he's a great artist. He used to paint shoes, still does, but that used to be his video content as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to check out his channel, I will put a link in this afterwards.
And he's just such a good guy.
Super
he
good
has
guy.
great content, but also on top of that, he's just he deserves all the good things that happen for him.
Right,
he's
and we'll be
such a good guy.
And we'll be doing a video for next week. I did a day at Disney with him, so that will be a new video. Paparazzi Mike, Brittany's here, Dale's here. Welcome everybody. So
hi, Brittany and Mike and Dale.
yeah, thank you for getting us to a crazy subscriber amount. I mean, the past month has been insane, so thank you so much for that. But today, I want to talk about Disney parks. I want to talk about Toy Story Land specifically, because there's some news that broke, Angie. And I don't know if I told you this at all. So this is interesting for you. So they announced, I told you this, they announced a Adopt-A-Porg program, or not announced to the public, but a couple of Imagineers posted about it. It's kind of in the works.
It's leaked, or is it they were supposed to?
I don't know if they're supposed to. They did it on their private Instagrams, so, and a couple people know. But this idea of Adopt-A-Porg is basically going to be similar to the Banshees in Pandora. You can buy one, but you are adopting one, and these are kind of instead of being a puppet on your shoulder, these are more like Furbies, so they'll...
But it sits on your shoulder. Didn't they say it sits on your shoulder?
It may sit on your shoulder, but it will... I'm not sure about that one. But it will learn some things as it goes, and as it grows, quote unquote, grows older.
Mm-hmm. Like a Furby.
This is over $1 million project put into these.
Anything for porgs.
Star Wars Land is getting all of these perks. They're getting all of this stuff. They're growing. Dano and I were talking about Star Wars Land last night, and like how he talked about it just like got me so excited.
Yeah.
But that being said, all the budgeting is going to that. Toy Story Land, which is the land next door at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Florida, which, by the way, they're trying to rename that park. The running name currently is Cinemagine. I don't know how I feel about that.
Wait. What?
Yeah,
also,
they want to reach... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Is it Nolder? Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Says that they're buying the Porg, and Diz Geekly says
Horrible
that's
name.
cool about the Porg, but then horrible name about the
Cinemagine?
Cinemat. Okay, I like the pun. I appreciate a good pun.
You want to be like, hey kids, get in the car, let's go to Cinemagine this week. It
It
sounds
sounds
like a
like
cinnamon
Cinemat.
roll. It sounds like a cinnamon roll spot.
Yeah, and you'd be like, yeah, get a cinnamon roll, and then you go and you're like,
Dale said that
I
he'd adopt the
think-
pork and eat it. You're the devil.
how can I kick Dale off or like block him?
Yeah, we could definitely block him. Yeah.
Skylar says the name makes him want to eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yes.
I want Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinemagine would be a great cereal. Especially for a Saturday morning live show.
Yeah.
But, anyway, so... Okay, so there's tons of stuff going into Star Wars Land, and there's all this hype going into it. There's not... I mean, they've had a little hype for Toy Story Land. But they announced Toy Story Land with having two main rides. One featuring aliens, being kind of a bumper car type of ride, and then one being the Slinky Dog roller coaster. And they've really pumped up the Slinky Dog roller coaster.
Yes.
However, a lot of the stuff that was supposed to go around the Slinky Dog roller coaster, all of like the shrubbery and toys and stuff, are being lessened. They're taking them away in favor of putting that budget into other things like like Star Wars Land. And so, my thought here, not only is it a glorified kids land, which yes it is, but is Toy Story Land in their eyes already failing? Because the last huge land that they built was Cars Land in the US, I think. And that was hugely successful. It still is super successful. They have all this exclusive merchandise in Cars Land. It is a land not just for adults and like not just for kids, but also for adults. I'm not saying that a place like Toontown or Bugs Land, which are also in my eyes glorified kids lands, can't succeed. When we went to Knott's Berry Farm 2 weeks ago, the busiest place was Camp Snoopy, which is their kids land. And Toontown, despite what people say about it, is always busy. I was there last night with Dana. We rode the Gadgets Go coaster. It was the longest line we stood in all night. And that's saying something. So glorified kids land isn't a bad thing necessarily. I don't think it's a great thing for a Disney park, but it's not a bad thing. But the budgeting for Toy Story Land is going away, and it's like before it's even opened, they've already thought that it is failing.
Yeah. Well, so...
There's a Geekly asked if the Alien Ride is going to be more like Bumper Cars or like Mater's Junkyard Jamboree.
Do you know?
I'm not 100%. I thought initially when they had the artwork and stuff that they were going to be more Bumper Cars. I might be wrong on that.
Well, if it's Bumper Cars, I mean, it'd be like,
the tuck and roll.
Yes.
Which is, again, a glorified
Yes.
kids land ride.
Which would make sense that it would be that.
Yeah. I just...
The place with Star Wars Land.
Let's go to that
The place. That's exactly what it's gonna be called.
Let's go to Cinnabon, the place with Star Wars land. But like, I just want to know, in your opinion, do you think that they've already said, we just need to get Toy Story Land opened, just have something in the Hollywood Studios park. We don't care if it's good or not. We just don't want people to skip out on this park, so I can then, in a year, open Star Wars Land and we can make this a huge deal. But they're just trying to open it, and it is then, in my eyes, glorified Kids Land. They didn't put the effort like they did Cars Land.
Have they said why they're taking away the shrubbery? And
no, they didn't. But my estimate is that it's probably money funding, because parks, Disney money is divided into sections, and that budget for where Disney Parks has their own money versus Disney Animation Studios has their own money. So that never cross-pollinates. So the budgeting for Toy Story Land went away a little bit. So you imagine that money had to go to somewhere else in the park system.
Right.
That could have gone to the redoing of Hong Kong. That could have gone to Star Wars Land at either or of the two parks, or both parks. It could go into Marvel Land. But I mean, regardless, they didn't think that Toy Story Land was a priority enough.
Mm-hmm.
So they let it go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that... Okay, so here, I have one more question before I give my opinion. When do they have, shareholder meetings?
It's every quarter.
So when was last one?
I feel like it was a few weeks ago.
And that stuff is that stuff's basically open to the public because it's open to shareholders. So right, can I access that even though
yeah? Because if you go online, immediately after a shareholder meeting, there's usually a ton of news that comes out. So usually everybody knows about it pretty quickly.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if that's something that is mentioned why they did that, because if the budget for the parks is not what they expected it to be. I don't know what a better way to say that is.
Yeah.
Then they have to have priorities.
I mean maybe a couple people noted in here. I like Disney's Movie Adventure, Disney's Hollywood Adventure. Those are the better names.
I agree.
Cinnabon,
I think
not a great name.
Yeah, I think Disney's Movie Adventure or Disney's Hollywood Adventure that, and I feel something like that gives you the feel of the park too.
Yeah, and Just Geekly said, "I'm a huge Toy Story fan. The expanding of Pixar Place would have been a better idea than trying to create a whole new land." And I agree, because you already have the established spot. You just kind of need to grow the street down a bit and add in some things. If you wanted to do a Slinky roller coaster, maybe you built it indoors in one of the old sound stages.
No, you have to see it.
But if you were indoors, you would be able to do actually going around Andy's room.
Okay, what if you start this compromise? You start outside, go inside.
You could. Monsters Inc. roller coaster, which had been rumored for years and years, that would have been huge too. So I don't know. That's a tough thing.
Here's the thing: is if their budget is lower than initially expected, then they had a meeting and they were like, we've actually lost money in 2017.
Right.
Then maybe they were like, well, we need to rework the budget, so one land is going to have... Either they're both going to lose, or only one land's going to lose and the other one doesn't have to. So I would think that, if one's going to... I mean, Star Wars Land is the obvious choice.
Yeah. Oh, no, totally. I'm not dogging on Star Wars Land for taking the budget away from Toy Story Land. Here's a question that's interesting, and I'll pose it to you guys. So, the Disney decade, which just ended as our podcast, but as an actual decade, Michael Eisner set this bar that the Disney parks would always be being worked on. They'd always continue to grow, which Walt Disney said it would always grow, but Michael Eisner set a pace of growth that is almost unattainable. And we, as fans, have gotten so used to Disney, as soon as a land opens, we need to know what's next.
Yeah.
Versus what, when Disneyland opened in 55, the next land to open was 10 years later with New Orleans Square. 11 years later with New Orleans Square. And then there wasn't a new land after that until Toontown.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I'm sorry, until, well, I mean, Frontierland, Indian Village, Critter Country has always kind of been like the same.
Yeah.
But like until Toontown, which was not until the 90s, like almost 30 years later. And so that's fine. But like Cars Land opened, and like that was a huge deal. That was a movement forward. The same with like Harry Potter Land was a movement forward in theming lands. So would it be a bad thing to say to Disney Hollywood Studios, we're not going to tear out as much as they did, and we're just going to spend all of the money on Star Wars Land, and then eventually, maybe in a few years, once Star Wars Land is opened, they'll then do Star Wars Land, or they'll then do Toy Story Land, and actually do it right, instead of having a budget for it and just kind of throwing something out there.
Yeah. I mean, if, like, the only thing that's changing is that there's gonna be less, like, fiberglass mannequin things and bushes, then I think Toy Story Land could still move forward.
Yeah.
I think we expect so much from Disney. Like, we almost expect money to not be an object to them because of everything that they've done. It seems like their budgets is unlimited, but it's not. They're a business just like any other business, and like sometimes tough decisions have to be made, and like I don't think that they've given up on Toy Story Land. I think that they said like what's important, and what's important number one is Star Wars. What's important number two within Toy Story Land is, you know, ABC.
Not Slinky Dog Roller Coaster.
Well, it's Slinky Dog Roller Coaster, but not bushes around Slinky Dog Roller Coaster. Like,
or theming?
Well, there might still be theming. It's just like the, you know, and maybe it's not budget, maybe it's time. I'm speculating because I don't know for sure. But like, whether it be, it's probably money or time. The other option would be space, or.
But that's the thing. At Disney World, space isn't truly an issue.
Yeah, but so so then if it's not that, then maybe it was like, you know, the concept art, it just doesn't translate well into the real world. Because sometimes you draw something and then you go to do it and it's like, oh, like that's not what I.
Yeah.
But like, it seems like if they announced it, it was like very, like, intentional decision that was made, even though like it wasn't a creative decision. Like, if it was a creative decision, I feel like it's like that's why it was announced, you know.
Yeah.
But
I think, and just my opinion, like it would have been nice for them to focus on Star Wars, 100%. You know, Disney Hollywood Studios is having a problem, so it would have been nice for them to just kind of leave a few things open. Focus 100% on Star Wars. Then shift after that's all done. I mean, Pandora ended, and they were still, I mean, they had announced Star Wars, but it really seems like as soon as Pandora ended, their game kind of upped. And then now after Star Wars ends, then they put the focus on something else. Cars Land has just set such a high bar for, or even, you know, Harry Potter, the Wizarding World, has set such a high bar that anything less than that at this point, as far as a fully themed land, just doesn't work.
Can I just mention that in the chat right now is going on a discussion of, that was not correct sentence structure.
Words. It's Saturday morning and we just woke up. We literally, okay, so this is how the show works. I said, hey, we're going to do a show at 9 a.m. On the Pacific Coast, which is where we live, every Saturday morning. And we went, okay. I stayed out till midnight. She stayed up working all night. I think we went to bed at 2 in the morning. We woke up.
It was 2 at some point.
Woke up 30 minutes before we were supposed to do this. Made coffee and we're like, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, words. Sorry, go ahead.
So in the chat they're talking about, like, wanting Muppets Land to happen.
Yes. Well, okay. I'm a huge Muppets fan. You know that.
Yeah.
A lot of people know that I'm a super huge Muppets fan.
You don't have to disprove it. Let them dream right now. We're just gonna talk about Toy Story and.
No, I need to say yes to Muppets and no to Muppets.
Fine.
Because.
Just ruin everyone's dreams.
The problem is Disney has no idea what they're doing with the Muppets, or they don't. The new Muppet Show that they had, I thought was fantastic. The ratings weren't that great. The showrunner changed up. They had a whole problem with the show. And as soon as it seemed like it felt like it gained some ground after the end of season 1, they canceled it. They didn't give it time.
They should just put it on Hulu or Netflix.
Yeah, they should actually, but they don't give Muppets any time for growth. And that's the problem. Because with the things that they've put into the parks, I
don't know why, I just pictured like Kermit and Miss Piggy and like all the other like Muppets with like protest signs, like they're on strike, like
give us our land.
Yeah, or like they're not given the time. You know, they're like
right. Well, now, hopefully like the Muppet Babies show does well, and then they'll put that into the Playhouse Disney lineup at the parks, the Playhouse Disney Live or whatever dance party, whatever it is now. But the Liberty Square show, the 2 shows they have there, hands down, that's what you should have done with the Muppets from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. You need live puppets, and like, it's so stupid that a puppet show.
It's obvious, yeah.
It's so obvious, but it's like, that's what I want. Like, to be able to be within 20 feet of Kermit the Frog, and I can physically see the real, quote-unquote, Kermit the Frog, is a childhood dream come true. Mm-hmm. It's like when you see a celebrity on the Muppet Show, they can't help but smile because it's just like, this is the Muppets. Like, that's how you feel at the Liberty Square show. You're just like, that's the Muppets. Yes. And
I feel like you're an animal there.
Yes, that's the Muppets. But then, they put out in Epcot, they have Bunsen and Beaker come out, interact with the crowd, which is great. The 3D show, the problem with the 3D show is that 3D shows just don't work anymore. We live in a world where you can go to the movies and like half of them are in 3D anyway.
Yeah, it was like a gimmick. That it was a new technology that came out and they were using it, and that's
so I think the show on TV, the new Muppet show, or the Muppets, whatever, didn't work in their eyes. They see at the parks that the 3D show doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, well, the Muppets aren't a good franchise. And it's like, no, the 3D gimmick ran out. That's not the problem. The characters are beloved. Nobody wants to sit through this 15-minute 3D show. Because the live show's great, the interactive stuff is great. You just need to figure out what to do with these characters and to do them right. The same with Toy Story Land. I don't feel like
they're giving it a chance.
I don't feel like what they chose. The Slinky Dog roller coaster was not the correct e-ticket attraction for a Toy Story Land.
I feel like, I'm sorry, but like, just like the way you said that, it's like, you're so serious. And it's like, the Slinky Dog roller coaster.
Yeah. No, but it just wasn't.
Like you're like Alex Jones on InfoWars. Like,
this is my Disney Alex Jones show. Aliens came down and murdered all of the Toy Story characters.
Slinky Dog roller coaster. But no, it feels like that. It does, and like, it feels like they kind of were like making a statement on like what's important, and it's like obvious that the priority would lie in Star Wars Land. Again, assuming it's because of budget. But the priority lies in Star Wars Land. It seems obvious, but it's kind of like for Disney to like confirm that publicly kind of seems like sad. I don't know.
I mean, before it's even opened.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I think it's one of those things that you have, like, it's worthy of a discussion. Like, we're just having a discussion on it right now. We don't have like I don't think anyone has like very solid like opinions on it yet. But it's, I mean, maybe some people do, but it's like, it's one of those things, like, you have to wait until it comes comes and see. Maybe they'll realize, oh no, it just doesn't work. Like, we've built it, and it just doesn't work without the shrubbery and the fiberglass.
So, Network 1901, which is us, chimed in.
It's probably Shannon.
It's probably Shannon or Dale, obviously, because I saw Dale earlier, so I'm assuming Shannon, but people are asking who it is.
It's me in my mind, somehow.
Yeah. So, Disc Geekly said that they were probably banking on Toy Story 4 to be a success, but the problem is, with that, in my opinion, is if Toy Story 4 is a success, you've got this amazing film, and you want to go to Toy Story Land because of it, and you get to Toy Story Land, and you're like, what? Because as soon as Toy Story 4 comes out, Star Wars Land is starting to be open. So you're going to go to Star Wars Land and be like, this is awesome. You're going to Cars Land and be like, this is awesome. And then you go to Toy Story Land and be like, what went wrong?
So you think that you had mentioned this, and then like I kind of ran away with the conversation.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you had said that the Slinky Dog coaster shouldn't be the centerpiece of a Toy Story Land. And do you think, like, are you saying that because you think that they doomed it from the beginning and like they just don't care enough to think about what the icon of the land should be? Or do you, like, why did you say that? And before you answered that, I want you to know.
What do I need to know? Oh, that we have a Slinky Dog?
And he's listening.
Oh.
And he's going to be listening to every word you say about this from this little thing. This is live, people.
This is really entertaining. Okay, so here's the thing, Slinky Dog. You could be a part of a ride. I would love you to be part of a ride. If you were, if they had a, I mean, the whole idea with the Toy Story Land is that you're being shrunk down to the size of a toy. If they had a dark ride, not like Toy Story Mania, not like Buzz Lightyear, but an actual real dark ride that you got to be shrunk down to the size of a toy. You are Andy's new toy. You just got bought, okay? And you sit in like a doom buggy kind of thing that looks like a package that you would have come in.
Sure.
Something, right?
Yeah.
And,
I'm getting excited about this.
And,
yes.
And then you go through the ride and you meet all of Andy's toys. And there's no like true real storyline that you need to have. But like
just like Monsters Inc.
Yeah, but you get to meet all the toys and they're full-fledged animatronics that are like the Cars Land animatronics.
With
now
the brand new top of the line.
Yes.
Like.
So then you get to meet a giant Slinky Dog. Yeah. You get to meet a Toy Story whatever character. So you get to meet Buzz and Woody, Mr. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head, and like maybe you go through like, you know, at the beginning of the movies they always have like Andy's like playing like the bank robbery or whatever. Like you get to go through that kind of thing. Like, and as you're going through Andy's room, like that is that's what you want to see. Yeah, like you know, an 8-foot Rex is super fun, you know, and like he comes out and scares you, and then he's like, "Was I scary? Was I scary?"
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of thing is what I want. I don't want where you're on the Slinky Dog roller coaster and there's just like a really still, like pointed out too, like a really still statue of Jessie, you know, and it's just like, no, I want like full-fledged animatronics where I get to like meet these characters as they go along. I think that that's kind of just a fun way to do stuff.
You know what would be cool is if they did that as a ride, and then like towards the end of like that scene where you're like acting out, like say it's like the bank robbery, and then you go like into the next room, and it's like the real life, because it always does that in the movie. It's like the scene. Okay, my arm is tired.
Yeah, you don't have to hold the Slinky Dog. By the way, here's my idea. If you were going to do bumper cars, instead of doing them as aliens, why wouldn't you do it as Bo Peep's sheep? And you're in a sheep, and she's herding all of her sheep. That just makes way more sense to me. And that would bank on Toy Story 4 being a big hit, because you know, bringing back the Bo Peep characters, so now you're just one of her sheep.
Yes. But tell that to Keith Lappenig, because he loves aliens.
Yeah, I mean, like there are people that do love the aliens, and they sell a lot of alien merch. But you could still have an alien ride.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. But like, okay, so what if you're in that dark ride and you're like, so the beginning of the movie is always like the scene, but it's like, it's shown as if it's like really happening in real life, and then it always goes to Andy actually playing and doing all the voices and stuff. So what if like the room that you went into was that, and it was like big Andy's hands coming down?
Yeah.
And he was just like holding like the Mr. Potato Head, and that was like what was coming out.
That's
like,
hilarious.
And you're just like, and it's like him voicing them and stuff too.
And even if you didn't want to do that as an animatronic, the new Ratatouille ride that's in Paris that's going to come to Epcot shrinks you down to the size of a mouse or of a rat, and you go by 3D screens.
Yeah, again, top of the line technology.
Right, so it's like very similar to, you know, like the Transformers ride or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't even mind that as long as it's a hybrid with animatronics and some screens. I think that kind of stuff, again, the budget would have to be a lot higher, and you'd have to put a lot more time and thought into it, but that's how you give a Toy Story franchise a due diligence, because that franchise has made Pixar. Without Toy Story, Pixar would have never been what it is. Without Toy Story, Disney would not have made billions of dollars on toys, on the films, on everything that they do. Like, Toy Story is one of their biggest franchises right now. Why would you not put together something that does it? And if you're not going to do just a Toy Story Land, do it as Pixar Place, but or Pixar Pier, but do it as a right thing. Like, put the budget into it and just say, you know, we're going to wait to do this until we have the budget enough for it, and then we're going to really ramp it up. That's what I would say.
But I know at some point Brittany had said that she thinks that Disney would be more likely to go over budget than to push something back. So you think they should, even though they probably won't. Like, they should push it back.
They should push
until they have the budget.
Yes.
But
they won't, because they need something to open at Hollywood Studios right now because they don't have enough for it.
But you think about, like, okay, so we were listening to the No Midnight podcast last night, and Chris and Adam are going to Walt Disney World. Actually, Chris is on his way there right now, right?
Yeah, he's on his way over there right now during this stream live. And then Adam goes tomorrow.
But they kept talking about, like, because it's Adam's first time going to Orlando, and they're going to be doing Universal too, and they were talking about how Universal is competition for Disney, but it's good competition, and like one of the ways that it's good competition is that they're always going with top of the line technology, and they're constantly like out with the old and with the new.
Yeah.
And that's an advantage they have over Disney because, and this is something they said in the podcast a few times, that Disney has the blessing of nostalgia, but it also has, you know, it's also a burden, and Universal doesn't necessarily have that.
So nothing's sacred.
Right, but so like with that said, and like with the fact that that's like what has really helped Universal grow, especially in the last like decade or so, and especially with Harry Potter Land. But Harry Potter Land is a nostalgia factor, but it's okay. I'm not gonna go into that. But that's the thing, is like you're gonna build a land based on one of the most iconic movies of our generation. Everybody knows what Toy Story is.
Yeah.
It's just like everybody knows who Mickey Mouse is.
And it is something that is generational. Like when I was hanging out with Dan last night, we were talking about Toy Story, and he said, Toy Story 2, he was, at that point when Toy Story 2 came out, he was like old enough to where Toy Story wasn't cool anymore.
Okay.
But when Toy Story 3 came out, he had a son at that point. And Toy Story 3, he was like, this is what I liked as a kid. I'm going to take you to see it. And then when they saw Toy Story 3, he fell back in love with it. It is now, Pixar is now what Disney was, even like in 55 when it opened. It's generational
Yeah, it's the Star Wars of Pixar. Like if like Star Wars is to Lucasfilms as Toy Story is to Pixar.
Pointed out that Universal is like a screen park, and which I agree. I 100% agree that they use too many screens for everything. However, the lands, the theming of the land itself, and the immersiveness of the land is really what Disney should think of. And when they did Cars Land, they did it perfect because instead of using screen rides, they have one attraction that's amazing, and they have a couple of attractions which I actually personally love both of like Mater's Junkyard Jamboree and Luigi's Rollickin' Roasters. I wanted to say Flying Tires, but I love both of those rides as they sit in the land because I'm immersed into the land and I want to have fun. Right? Like as soon as I'm in the land, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in the Cars universe, and nobody says that Cars is their, especially an adult, says that Cars is their favorite Pixar film.
Yeah.
However, when you walk into Cars Land, you are immediately thinking, I didn't really love the movie, but I love this.
Yeah.
And then you go on the ride and you're like, yes, this is what a ride should be in this kind of land. Like the Harry Potter Forbidden Journey ride, fine, that's totally okay. To me, the Gringotts ride is cheapened by the screens, which stinks because the queue for that attraction is by far the best thing about it.
Yeah, and I think like Diz Geekly said that like what you just said is that like it's the land of screens, and I think like I think when I said the like it's like top of the line, I think I think like you're kind of right. Maybe I'm wrong.
Universal's getting things right in immersion.
Sure.
What they're getting things wrong in is
the screen.
Is going 80% of the way with an attraction and just saying, how do we make this work? And their answer is always
so it's
screen.
Still top of the line. It's still competition for Disney, but it's just it could be more competition for Disney. Maybe that's more
They could do a screen ride. Like a screen ride's fine. Star Tours is a screen ride. People still love Star Tours. Soarin's a screen ride. People still love Soarin'.
But it's done because it's a stationary. Well, not stationary, but like for the most part, it's a stationary ride vehicle. It goes like this, but like it doesn't move forward. Whereas Gringotts moves.
The Remy, the Ratatouille ride, is a screen ride. Here's the difference. If you look at Universal Studios, they have 12, 13 rides at the Hollywood Park. How many of them are screen rides? Practically all of them.
Yeah.
At Disney, you look and say, how many of these are screen rides? 2, 3?
Yeah.
That's fine, as long as it varies it up a bit.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me that you go to Hollywood Studios and there's all screen rides except for in the Super Silly Funland where they have, like, the Dumbo style ride, and that's it. It's just like, so you have this like very kid-like land with a Dumbo ride or a bunch of screens.
Yeah.
And like the new thing that they're opening at Hollywood Studios is that they got rid of Shrek 4D and now they're putting in basically DreamWorks 4D. Like it's not an improvement.
Yeah, right. But I think like it's weird because I think it's almost like the I'm sorry. I am stumbling over my words because every time I start a sentence over, I'm having a new thought.
Yeah.
Because I feel like maybe it is Harry Potter that is a competition.
It is.
But then it's funny because I kind of like when I said it before, like I was like, besides Harry Potter.
And somebody said that they're like looking forward to Nintendo Land. Like they would go to Universal for Nintendo Land. That's a great thing.
Yes.
That's immersion.
Yes. But again, that's the nostalgia factor. So maybe it is.
Is it though? Is Toy Story Land a nostalgia factor? Because as a little, like, when I was a kid and I saw Toy Story, that'd be great. But, like, as an adult, I'm now nostalgic for it. Like, all the stuff on the shelf, most of it that is Toy Story themed is from when I was a little kid. And, like, it makes me think of when I was a little kid. It doesn't make me think of how I'm a Toy Story fan now. It makes me think of when I saw the movie first.
So, what are you asking me?
I'm saying, okay, so a bunch of people pointed out, well, it's supposed to be a backyard, so theming out the window. But here's the thing: why was it ever a backyard? Why, like they announced that it's a backyard, and we just all said, yeah, okay, that's cool. But like, go back to the drawing board and think, like, why couldn't you build a building?
Yeah.
Like at Tokyo Disney, the Mermaid Lagoon is 100% their entire themed land, which is a glorified kids land, but an entire themed land is indoors.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to do a Toy Story land, you could put it all indoors.
Yeah.
Or if you're just going to do Pixar Place, that's fine.
They should
budget it out.
They should really take notes from Disney Sea.
They should take notes from Disney Sea because they're pushing the boundaries.
Yes, and it's because of that outside company.
Somebody put, why didn't it take place in a toy store?
Yeah.
And there are possibilities endlessly. Imagination is the possibilities, right? So why just choose a backyard?
Building a building is expensive. Maybe that's
it. So put the budget in Star Wars Land, and then say the next thing we're gonna do is wait and then build out Pixar Place or build out Toy Story Land.
Yeah.
Budget is not the issue. The issue is timing.
Sure.
And your timing said we need to rush this out. So now you've taken a beloved franchise and given it a mediocre land so that you can make sure that Star Wars Land gets shot, which I'm not knocking Star Wars Land because I'm going to be there opening day, hands down for sure. But Toy Story Land is something that I would love to see because I love it. The next generation of kids love it. The generation after that's going to love it. Toy Story deserves better. Yeah. Why is a Toy Story better than a backyard? It's not, but like the possibilities could be there, but Toy Story does deserve better than a half thrown together.
Yeah.
Bugs Land is like a thing where it's like, it's tough to be a bug. The movie did great, but nobody's like really nostalgic for A Bug's Life. A majority of people probably, Disney fans, people that are in here in our chat could probably tell us who, some of the actors are in A Bug's Life. Or like what the storyline is, but a majority of the general public who would love a Toy Story Land and remember Toy Story and know the story, know the characters, know the voice actors, wouldn't be able to tell me the exact same thing about A Bug's Life. And that's just a fact. Like, it's not as loved. So to me, Toy Story is worthy of a full-on fledged, huge budgeted land.
Yeah.
It's not. But leave your comments. Tell me what you think. This is Dave Foley, Dennis Leary. Good job, Dale. Good job there. Thanks a lot.
Wait, what?
He's naming off people that were in the movie.
Oh. It didn't sound like you said names. So I was like, you just spoke a different language to me.
Disney said, do you think that Star Wars Land will be done this year or sooner if they weren't doing Toy Story Land? I don't even know if maybe not, but that's okay because here's the thing, we're so, again, during the Disney decade and with Michael Eisner, they all told us we're going to build all this stuff real fast, and they set expectations too high. I don't mind waiting for something that's going to be as amazing or better than the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So I'll wait for Star Wars Land, and then after that, I'll wait another 5 years for the next land. Like, just give me something that I can look forward to that's really going to make me want to look forward to it. But
when you said, though, I don't know if you answered this. Maybe you did. When you said you didn't think the Slinky Dog coaster should be like the main attraction of the park.
No, it shouldn't even be built.
Because you don't think Slinky Dog should be a representation of Toy Story?
I think Slinky Dog is a great representation of Toy Story.
You just think that the ride itself doesn't deserve.
It's a kids coaster.
Okay.
Like, and not only that, they already have a kids like coaster with the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which is comparatively to Slinky Dog's roller coaster is better because you've got all these animatronics. You go through this great little mine scene. So the comparison to the Slinky Dog Dash roller coaster is that this isn't as good as the Snow White train.
I think it's actually really appropriate to have the aliens be bumper cars. because they're in the thing and they're like trying to be picked and they're like banging into each other.
Yeah, but okay, so if you gave
Could be RC cars.
if you gave yeah, that's true. You could all be RC cars.
Like this RC car here.
Yeah, it's over me. Anyways, I'm gonna try and like wrap this up because we're going to be about 45 minutes here. But last thought here. If you
you get to have the last thought.
No. I'm asking you. I'm asking you the last thought here.
Okay.
So, Toy Story Land. Let's just say they pushed it back. They're gonna give it a bigger budget. In theory, they go. Toy Story 4 comes out, and then like a year later, they open Toy Story Land. So they've given it a little bit bigger budget. They give it a little more time.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that you would be like, I need to see this in Toy Story Land? Blue sky, doesn't matter. Like, get rid of everything. Like what? Like if you were to walk into Toy Story Land, what is, as soon as you walk in, you go, oh yeah, this is cool.
Okay, I think I have an answer. I think something. I don't think anything too specific, but something to do with a dark ride. I think, like, if you look at Toontown, there's Roger Rabbit's cartoon.
As soon as you walk in.
I think, like, yeah, a dark ride, and a dark ride's great because they can do more with a smaller space, or at least like a smaller guest space, because they can have the show building go back into the cast member areas. So, you can do a lot with like a smaller amount of space. Just have the entrance be, as big as the Slinky Dog roller coaster. But I think something with the dark ride. I think you need to honor these characters in a way that if you're being shrunk down to the size of a toy and you're experiencing all these toys around you, then I want to like actually see all the toys that I love. I want to see my favorite character, but like in real life, not on a screen.
Yeah.
And like
as a meet and greet character, or
no, because I mean, sure, but like for me personally, because that'd be for like a kid. I don't care to see like Miss Potato Head as
yeah.
But like him out in front of Midway Mania, that animatronic, and having like a whole ride of animatronics like that to me like is what that's Mr. Potato Head in real life. Like that's what he's plastic. He's
not a big
toy,
statue. Like if it didn't move, you wouldn't buy into it. But because it moves,
in the
because
eyes,
it talks, you buy into it.
Yes.
That's the same thing. I 100% agree, and that's why I don't think people have said this before in the chat. The statue, like the kind of just standing statues around the Slinky roller coaster, don't work.
Yeah.
Because that's not Toy Story to me.
Yeah.
When the immersion of stepping into Andy's room or backyard or whatever even, and you want to jump in and say, I see these animatronics. They're these characters I love.
It's like the character shouldn't be the ride. It's like the character should be riding the ride with you, experiencing it with you. Slinky Dog shouldn't be the ride. Slinky Dog should be with you on the ride.
That's what makes the mine train so great, is because you're taking a mine train into the mine where the dwarves work, and then you get to see the dwarves as they work. Now, regardless of how you feel about the mine train, because I think that the mine train scene could be longer or have more scenes, but regardless, that kind of idea really works better than, okay, I get a ride on Slinky. First of all, why am I not riding on RC car? Which makes way more sense than riding on Slinky Dog. And I want to see Slinky
They do
Dog.
they do have a RC car ride.
That's not going into the Hollywood Studios land, I don't think.
Okay.
That might be, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks to those people who came in. Thank you so much to, again, helping us grow the channel. We have had huge success since the beginning of the year. I mean, just gaining 100 plus people in the last 2 days has been amazing. Thank you so much. This morning I just got a new patron on Patreon. For those who don't know, you can go down to the description below if you're interested in helping us on Patreon. We've got some perks. You can get some shirts, get some other things. And it does help us out. We've been able to kind of grow the channel. We all got nice blue microphones because of your help. We've gotten all kinds of great stuff. And we're only putting money back into the channel at this point, and we're not taking any money for ourselves.
Yes.
That's just kind of our motto. But thank you guys so much for hanging with us, for helping us, for doing what you do. We love it. Appreciate it. And we'll be back next Saturday with a new topic. And I've been posting them on social media, the topics and stuff, about midweek. I think I posted this topic on Thursday. The John Lasseter show that we did last week, I posted on like Tuesday or Wednesday. So if you want to know next week's topic, make sure to follow us on all the social links. Again, those are down below as well. But thank you so much. And thanks, Angie, for joining me on Saturday Morning Live.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. And Slinky Dog just wants to say bye. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. I don't know how to do Slinky Dog's voice. I shouldn't have done that. I regret it.
Cool.
Last minute shout outs to...
Oh yeah, JJ, my friend from Denver, is here. Captain Akron, thank you. Paparazzi Mike, you're awesome. I appreciate it. Dale's also saying thanks to a bunch of people. Nolder has been with us for a long time. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. We'll see you soon. And check out the DCC episode number 50 coming this week. Bye, everybody.
And Corey from New Midnight Podcast just texted you and said, good morning from Denver.